This is Dr. Louise Nelson for Memory Alpha. Today we reflect on conflicts. Conflicts which need not happen, and yet politics and ambition can be the cause of. With the Klingons, the Federation strives for peace, but incidents can regrettably happen.
My name is Stuart Foley, captain of the USS Foley, one of the fleet's few dreadnoughts. I don't agree with the current state of hostilities with the Klingon Empire, but when it comes to doing my duty, the choice is often clear.
Captain Foley, well known among the fleet for his diplomatic skills, was en route to Equian 7 when he picked up an Andorian distress call.
We were going to resupply a colony on the Klingon border, but one that was far enough inside Federation space that this sort of subterfuge should not be possible. Someone screwed up, and will have to pay for the mistake.
With the development of cloaking technology, Starfleet has trouble in ensuring all outside forces are detected before any treaty violations occur.
Commander Lee Galloway, Chief Science Officer, USS Foley. Cloaking technology is a Pandora's box. It's going to change our situation with the Romulan and Klingon empires in fundamental ways. The fact that both now have such technology, we're moving into times of uncertainty.
We dropped out of warp and saw a beacon, a Klingon signal beacon, remodulated to send out an Andorian transmission. Old trick, but it worked. In the time it took us to realize the cause of the signal, the Klingons attacked. If this had been closer to the border, our shield would have been on a higher power setting, but based on the distress call, there was no need for a tactical alert status.
We could not have known, and I stand by the captain's quick thinking. It was just not quick enough to stop that first calculated strike.
The attack caused enough damage that I'm sure gave this Klingon captain great honor. Although, that being said, how much honor is there in using the new cloaking technology to attack an opponent in this way? Some could argue a surprise attack on an unshielded enemy shows cowardice, not honor.
The Klingon culture prides itself on the idea of honour and service. Through previous encounters with the Klingons, it is clear that individual officers have different definitions of honour.
We were under attack by one of the new cloaking-equipped bird of preys. When I was a lieutenant on the Helios, we faced the last of the old breed of warship bird of preys. They were ferocious in their day. Now, the Klingons have been mass-producing smaller, less armed, but more multi-purpose ships in this style. Other captains have faced them. Some won, some lost. Now it was my turn.
The old-style birds of prey were warships. The fact that the Klingons seem to have taken to this new cloaking tech in such an enthusiastic way to all but remove their warship-style birds of prey, replaced now by the D6s and D7s. They were really going all in on cloaking technology.
There has been limited experience with cloaked ships by Starfleet to date. The Suliban have had cloaking technology since before the founding of the Federation, along with the Romulans' newer version of the cloaking device. The Klingons have experimented with cloaking screen technology, but nothing to this current level.
I was angry at myself for not going to Red Alert as soon as we dropped out, but there was no reason to. Hindsight is 20/20, and I did the best I could. My ship and crew came out in one piece, and that's the most important thing.
This new bird of prey design has been seen in several different sizes, with appropriately scaled capabilities for each variant. Unlike the older warship birds of prey, this new design utilises a single forward torpedo launcher, 2 high-power wing-mounted disruptor cannons, and large engines which give great speed, all allowing for manoeuvres unique for a cloaking-capable ship.
The Romulans have caused trouble since their re-emergence, but thankfully it's been limited. Starfleet has not truly faced a cloaking-equipped fleet since the Suliban, and we've come a long way since the NX-01. This was going to be a new arms race.
We couldn't detect them. Every time they cloaked, they were entirely gone from scanners. trying to fight space itself. It's something Starfleet is going to have to adjust to, and fast. With shields up and weapons powered, it was a waiting game until the Klingons attacked. I had Tactical try and reverse engineer their plan of attack. What would be the most damaging strategy? The thing is, this Klingon captain was smart. They didn't go for the easy maneuvers, the predictable ones. In fact, their tactics were truly impressive for a single ship. It was like looking for a ghost. They would decloak just long enough to get a shot off, then maneuver away and recloak. We kept getting close to a target lock, but they were so damn smart. Challenging. Annoying, but fun in a way.
They were impressive. Always keeping 1, 2, even 3 steps ahead. I tried to predict their movements, but they were good. They were fast.
The captains of the Klingon fleet bring a wide variety of experiences to engagement, from tactically sophisticated to a more blunt style of attack.
I tried keeping all phaser turrets on standby, torpedoes loaded, but their captain saw our power transfers and shortened his attack maneuvers. Single hits, death by 1,000 cuts. Once again, impressive how fast this thing was, moving around us so unpredictably. The last generation of Klingon attack ships, at any size, could never have pulled out such maneuvers.
It was not a concentrated attack to disable a specific shield zone. No. It was just a constant barrage, draining our shields, bit by bit. We tried to hit back, but their movements, they were truly unpredictable.
Honestly, this felt more like a Romulan strategy, firing from the shadows. Since it was the Romulans that gave this technology to the Klingons, I'm left to wonder if they also taught any of the Klingon captains tips and tricks to make the most of the cloak.
When this new bird of prey was first encountered, it was believed to be a new Romulan design. The presence of a cloaking device and a distinct bird pattern on the underside of the ship was in line with previous Romulan ship classes. This, however, was not the case, and multiple Klingon captains have felt the need to reveal themselves in past encounters. This is a next-generation Klingon starship with Romulan influences. To what extent, we may never know.
We couldn't find the ship, but maybe we could make it stand out. Make it something we could hit.
The captain knew combat wasn't the solution. We had to think, see what the Foley had that could surprise the Klingons, give us the upper hand, and send them back to Kronos. That was a hope, at least.
The Foley was carrying a myriad of unusual supplies for the colony's restock. It had us move away at full impulse, leave the bird of prey less avenues of attack while we looked through the manifest. We were being pummeled, was hitting shields at impressive intervals. We may have got a successful hit or two on them, but it was never long enough to do any real damage. We found a small container of chemocyte, apparently to help a geothermal power generator at the colony. My apologies to them, but we had to use it.
Chemocyte was a trilumic ore, unstable unless supercooled. If superheated, it would become plasma.
The chemocyte, beamed away from the ship and hit, would superheat and explode in an expanding plasma field. The plasma would be dispersed in all directions. If any part of the bird of prey touched the plasma, it would break through the cloaking field and disrupt it, like ink in water, with a fish caught in the effects. We'd have them.
Captain Foley has a record of unusual maneuvers. They almost always work.
As we were planning this, I looked at the sensor logs. Something about it, for me, didn't add up. The distance and orientations of the different attacks were often radically different. For a bird of prey to make such maneuvers, if this was a single ship, then Starfleet was in big trouble. I asked Galloway to recalculate the attack patterns, but to assume there were 2 ships, and that, to me, looked like a far more likely scenario.
The captain had a hunch. This was a carefully coordinated plan between a pair of cloaked ships. In some ways it made sense, but in others, the data just didn't back it up. Still possible, but unlikely. That is, in fairness, exactly what the Klingons would have wanted us to think.
Two birds of prey working in tandem. This would have changed the chemosite plan, so I ordered to adjust the calculations accordingly. Harriman said it was possible that a single ship was capable of these maneuvers, with an experienced and bold captain. I wasn't convinced. Not until he cross-referenced all the scans we got of the attacks. Each time we saw a decloaked ship, its power signatures were identical. Weapon signatures a match. The evidence pointed to one ship. But I still believe we may have faced a pair. One which coordinated their ships to appear as one. The Klingons are capable of anything. I didn't want to underestimate them.
Further studies on the sensor telemetry have been conducted, and we find it inconclusive as to if there was a second bird of prey, or a single one, as seemed to be the case.
My name is Lieutenant Mark Davis, one of the best transport operators on the Foley. I'd felt the impacts, but had no idea what was going on. Stay at my post in case I was called upon. That's the job of a transporter operator. It wasn't no call I got so much as security moving a barrel of chemosite into my transporter room. They were careful, but as fast as they could be without exploding, or something like that. I was given the transporter coordinates, ready for the captain's orders.
We adjusted the coordinates slightly for the possibility of a second bird of prey, then started the plan.
New coordinates came in, and it was my job to get the barrel beam safely. I had to tease the confinement beams and run a longer dematerialization. I'm good at my job, so we got it off the ship, ready for the next phase of the captain's ingenious plan.
I ordered the maneuver and watched the torpedo fly. It worked. The small part of the bird of prey came into contact. We only needed a beacon to follow. I ordered forward weapons to bear. I sent out an open hail. Asked them to stop their attack. Give them a chance. What did they do? They fought till the end.
I never quite understand the Klingon mindset. They were beaten. Even if they didn't surrender, they had every avenue to escape. Why continue hostilities? What honor is gained in that? And even if there was, your life should be worth more than your honor. As soon as they opened fire, I knew the captain had no choice.
Weapons were locked, and I paused. Just a second, hoping there was another option. Then I did what I had to.
Starfleet regrets the loss of life. The Klingon Empire was contacted, and House Gorkon was informed of their loss.
I don't know why some houses are more aggressive than others. House Gorkon, they want to test us. Multiple of the new bird of prey attacks have been from the same house. Maybe it's part of a larger plan. The head of House Gorkon is a general in the Klingon Defense Fleet. Reports indicate he may be vying for a position on the High Council, testing what the Federation is capable of, maybe part of his rise to political power. Perhaps we'll never know.
Reports indicate that Gorkon of House Gorkon has been appointed a member of the Klingon High Council. His daughter, Azat Bor, has also been made part of the War Council. While we cannot be fully certain of these reports, these particular claims come from a reliable source.
When the Foley was leaving the system, just before we warped out, we detected something. To me, it looked like another ship decloaking. We lost sensors for a split second as we jumped to warp. Then, when we scanned again, nothing but debris. If what we detected truly was a second bird of prey, then my gut was right, and these Klingons had a bigger strategy. New tactics that could be even more effective and ability to show restraint. Sometimes the best strategy is to fight another day. This could be a new type of Klingon, and House Gorkon may be the biggest threat. Or at least something new.
The Federation has wanted nothing more than to make peace with the Klingon Empire. This state of relations, this Cold War, is not good for either side. We hope the Klingon Empire will decide to vie for peace, and hopefully it is not some giant incident which forces their hand. A long-lasting peace is what we all strive for. This has been a Memory Alpha documentary, and we would like to thank Captain Stuart Foley for sharing his experience.